Welcome back, friends, to Watch Closely. It's a weekly show where we take a closer look at the world of movies, shows, and streaming. I am Jason, one of your hosts. Thank you guys for joining us. And joining me, as always, is a man who knows. The only skill in life is hitting a ball with a racket. Ernie, how you doing?
Hello. That was random. You put me on the big screen,
I
like all
put you on
randomly.
too quickly.
And I just was like, I was
I
typing
had
something
two
else.
quotes. Oh, sorry. I had two quotes that I was like debating which one to use, and I was like, I'll do that one.
No worries.
Sorry,
No, you're fine.
The other one was, you take such good care of the white boys. I didn't want to do that one.
Oh, what?
We're talking about challengers.
Oh, I thought we were talking about tennis balls.
We are, yeah. But I was trying to do a challengers related theme. But yeah, how are you doing, bro? How's your week?
I'm doing really well, dude. I'm chilling, dude. I'm excited to be here. This is a little bit random, right? We don't normally do an episode on a Sunday, or maybe we shouldn't have said what day it was. Huh?
I mean, the people in podcast land can know. Like this one is a little bit of a surprise episode because
surprise.
Surprise. We are doing it a little early this week. We're doing a weekend episode because we wanted to get you guys some content before I take off. I'm going on a trip with the missus. Gonna be gone for 10 days, so I want to make sure you guys get some content. Ernie might drop an episode while I'm gone, and I'm excited for it. I was telling him I could bring my mic. We could do this. We could make this happen, but it's up to him.
Yeah, but also like I don't want your wife to get mad at you for like coming to work. It's like ending your honeymoon sooner. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'd rather you spend time with the front of the cast and Alex and be here with us. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love for you to be on, but if it arises where she's asleep and you just have your headphones on, just hop on, dude. I mean, what could have hurt? What could have hurt? She hurts you. You just hear you go, ah!
I'll just start recording, and then you just see this shadowy creature behind me. So like, take him away. Before we get started, though, bro, I have to say, my wife was like, I want to watch a scary movie. She kind of gets into that mood, like I know your wife does, but your wife's like to the extreme. Like she's like every night is a horror movie night. But she was like, I want to watch Imaginary because she hadn't watched Imaginary. And we put it on, and I kid you not, she fell asleep within the first like 10, 15 minutes of it. I sat there watching the rest of it. And it's okay. It's not the greatest movie. I didn't like it that much.
I watched that one too. It creeped me out here and there. I'm not a big horror guy. I've always mentioned that. But I watched it, and I think it kept our attention. She didn't fall asleep, which is a good sign. Usually falling asleep like your wife did means that she didn't really care for the film as much. You know what I mean? That she was really tired, but it's just like we watched it and it was okay. Like I remember just being like, there's nothing really here to report back. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to like give you guys this like, hey, this was like the best one. It was just decent. It was okay. There was a film recently that I watched, Night Swim. I had the same similar sentiment as that movie. Like it was okay. You know what I mean?
Night Swim was like whatever. Like that was one of those ones where it wasn't that scary really. It was just kind of like, hurry up, let's get to it.
Yeah, I was intrigued though by Night Swim a little bit more. I think I really wanted to know more of the background story of what was going on, but obviously we didn't get it. And then freaking, I don't know. It just fell short by the end of the film. So you're muted.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
only yourself can hear yourself.
I was talking to myself,
talking to the moon, basically. What's up?
But I was gonna say that the horror movies this year have been a little meh. I would say, like, there's nothing really that's piqued my interest as far as like, I want to see what happens here. Like, I mean, I'm not the biggest horror movie fan either.
What about Immaculate, dude? Did you watch that yet?
I haven't watched that one yet.
I thought you were Sydney
is that one of the best ones that you've seen this year?
No, I don't think so. No, I think. I'm trying to think what's the last movies we've watched in theaters that we really liked, like horror films. Do you remember? I don't remember. The last
there hasn't really been anything.
I think the last one that me and my wife really enjoyed was Talk to Me. I believe I think that one was probably one of our top horror films for I think last year. It was really good. Right now, I mean, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey too. I heard it was really good, but I haven't watched, dude, so I can't really.
There's blood and there's honey.
Good
Um,
times.
yeah. I had two things I wanted to mention before we get into like our challengers review. Um, aside from, if you guys are listening right now and you are not subscribed, please share. Please share with the friends and fam. We're trying to get this channel up to, I don't know, Ernie. What do you want to get it up to? 1 million? 10 million? We're doing it
10 million sounds
one
nice.
episode at a time. But I wanted to share this with with the friends of the cast. If they hadn't seen it, there's this cool little montage, and we'll just play a clip of it so we don't get
She
it.
takes us somewhere we've never been before. Not just entertained,
Not just entertained,
But somehow,
but somehow reborn.
so he did a
That's so sweet.
Morgan Freeman did like a not a parody, but it says parody down here, but it was kind of a tribute, sort of a montage to Nicole Kidman's famous AMC ad. And I just thought it was sweet how, like, he pretty much did it shot for shot, and somebody recorded it at the AFI. Was it a film festival or just AFI conference or something? But I just wanted to share because you sent me the whole thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, they actually did the whole thing. It was pretty sweet. But yeah, the second thing. Oh, did you any thoughts before we move?
No, it was just really sweet, dude. I ended up watching it twice, and then I was cleaning out my desk, and your wife for my birthday, I think like last year, she had given me a Nicole Kidman like card that essentially has like the whole like things of the whole like script of what she says in the ad,
Oh right,
and I
yeah.
hung it, and I didn't hang it out, but I posted it upwards, so like the way I'm looking, it's like right there looking at me. It's freaking
Oh, that's
sweet.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. I still think she needs to do more of these, dude. If they just had his, like, if Morgan Freeman did one and like came alongside her or something, or she's like sitting in the empty theater or something, that'd be sweet. And the second thing, dude, I want to talk about real quick was let me copy paste. But dude, somebody on the internet made our day. They took they took the trailer from Deadpool and Wolverine, and they gave him a helmet. They gave him the comic accurate CG helmet, and it's like a sweet little clip where it shows, you know, parts from the trailer, but then it also goes through and shows you like how he did it. Like, he shows you a little bit of the recreation of the CG mask, but like, how sweet is this? Look at this guy. It looks so cool. I was excited. I was nerding out a little bit when I saw it. You showed it to me, and I was like, dude, that's so cool. He might put the mask on, dude. You don't know.
You never know. I mean, it looks really freaking neat, but also like it's kind of odd. Like look at the cheeks. Like it's not like hugged into his cheeks here. You see that?
Yeah, it's a little loose in this one, right?
Yeah, it's a little loose. I'm not sure. Maybe if I can see right here.
Well, this one they actually connect the neck. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This one's pretty.
It looks really cool in certain shots, but then sometimes it just kind of looks kind of wanky. You know, wonky. I mean wanky.
Wanky.
Well, Willy Wanker. No, it looks a little wonky, but it looks cool, dude.
It's just fun though. Like it kind of reminded me of you know, the Marvel, was it 1976? Look, what's the name of the game that's coming out with they showed the clip at one of the conferences where Captain America fights
Black Panther,
and they take his helmet off because they recorded his performance capture, and it looks sweet. I think they should leave it off or take it off at some point, but then like they can just put the helmet right back on. It's kind of what it reminds me of. Like, maybe they will CG the helmet on, like in certain, I don't know. There could be a lot of things in this trailer that are like hiding from us, right?
It's like called it's called what is it? Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra.
43. Oh yeah. 1940. I can't put the one in. There we go. 1943. Yeah, this guy. I don't know why it's showing so big. But the Unreal Engine, dude, that they did on this thing was crazy. I just want to show you just a piece of what we're talking about. This guy. Oh no, it's toward the end. He goes, "The shield that you hide behind does not belong to you." So, like, see in the trailer, he has his helmet on, but then on the footage they showed at the conference, he has the helmet off, and you can watch his performance capture. And I was like,
the helmet's off is way better, huh?
It's totally better, right?
Yeah, it's way better. It's right there, below. Go down. See the
there you go.
Right there it is.
Yeah, see this? Yeah, dude, they need to just leave it off. I hope you like, you know how sometimes he'll just like
yeah,
Ant-Man
it
will
comes
flip his
out.
helmet off. Maybe
See, that's the thing with a lot of recognition of the facial structure. It's hard like to mimic, like like with Spider-Man, like when he's like talking, you can kind of
yeah.
get the gist of what he's doing, but you really don't get that full grasp, that full effect of his face, like that emotion. You know what I mean? And I think this is like perfectly done where like just play a little bit of the clip. I just want to hear what he says. It just sounds so freaking cool. Like this is like I'm like sold. When I saw this part, I was like sold.
I'm here on the business of the United States government.
Yours is not the only business here.
His accent.
Stay out of my way.
Stand aside.
I do not take orders from anyone. Turn around, boy. Go home.
You know who that is? You know who the guy who's playing is the I don't know if you watch Walking Dead, but
I do. Yeah,
he was
he's the guy with
King,
the lion.
what's his name?
I forgot his name, but
King Ulysses. I don't remember. King somebody.
Look, pal, I don't know who you are,
but I know who you are.
Captain America.
America's hero.
But dude, it's just so good, dude. Like they totally need to put his helmet or take his helmet off for parts.
I think his name is Carrie Payton.
Yeah. Carrie Payton's the guy who did the motion capture for this. But I forget the name of the character in Walking Dead. But that's what a lot of people know him from.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other things you wanted to talk about before we jump into the review?
No, not really. I just kind of want to see who he. Oh, his name is Ezekiel.
Yeah, King Ezekiel. That's his name in The Walking Dead. He's got.
I think he has like a really cool like lion or tiger. I thought it was tiger. Yeah.
He's got a really big coat. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He was a good character in that one. I liked it. That shield that you hide behind does not belong to you. All right, so we're gonna get into the movie Challengers.
I love that dude. That girl be on the trailer.
Oh yeah, there she is. That's
dude,
we
gotta start doing more faces like that. Maybe that's what people want, is for you to like. Can you do a face like that? Go do a face.
We're like,
see, like you're really surprised.
Oh my gosh!
You're like, and it's like when you see like Challengers. You know how like I don't know if you ever see. Go ahead.
That was a good one.
Challengers. There was one where I was looking up reviews because I'm not really. Well, I don't think I am. I don't think I'm a good reviewer for movies. I'm just really bad at telling you what I feel. But I was watching reviews for this movie, and one of them was like, "Challengers is ... I'm like, that's clickbaity, and I like that because I'm sure people see that and they're like, I wants to see what is the is. It could be anything.
Challengers is ...
Yeah, I don't know.
No, we don't know.
I don't know. I mean, is Sydney Sweeney immaculate? I'm just joking. Before we start off, I want to hear. I'm going to tell you my thoughts, and then I want to hear yours. What do you think the real challenge is here?
The real challenge?
The
real challenge is
it not to kiss your really good
It's
friend?
the believability, bro. It's the believability of the story.
Of the story? I know. I mean, this is believable. What do you mean? Like, there has been friends?
We'll get into it.
Okay, we'll go for it. We'll get into it.
Well, yeah, there's friends, but let me just read the synopsis. So, according to IMDb, it says Tasha is a former tennis prodigy turned coach, turned her husband into a champion, but to overcome the losing streak, he needs to face his ex-best friend and Tasha's ex-boyfriend. The Challengers. Do you have any other synopses he sees? Challengers.
Another synopsis? Well, I wrote one down if you want me to read that one.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Read that one.
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, read it.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. I'm on this freaking... I'm on this Mac. And it freaking, yeah. It's so tough for me to like move around with it. But The Challengers, directed by Luca Guadagnino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you read this one? The movie follows Tasha, a former tennis star turned coach, as she guides her husband Art to reclaim his career. However, things take a complex turn when Art's comeback leads him to face off against his former best friend and Tashi's ex-lover. Kind of sounds like what you said.
Yeah, it's funny. There's like multiple versions. Like the one on Google says Tashi is a tennis player turned coach. Has transformed her husband from a mediocre player to a world famous Grand Slam champion. It's like the same thing, but it's like slightly different. To jolt him from his losing streak, she makes him play a challenger event close to the lowest level of tournament on the Pro Tour. Tensions soon run high when he finds himself standing across the net from the once promising, now burnt out Patrick, his former best friend, and Tashi's former boyfriend. So
there's two things I want to say. Okay,
go ahead.
This movie leads you astray, like you don't know what's going on. But that, and second, look at this poster you have on the screen. It looks like someone, like if I could Photoshop, I'd put someone with a hook pulling him. You know what I mean? Like when the stage, you know, it looks like he's getting dragged out.
I have to say this is one of the goofier posters.
Her game, her rules. Like if it's like it's like she is the main person in this film, which she kind of is, right? I think in the entirety of the movie, she kind of seems as though she is this. I don't know how to describe it, but I guess there's only one way for me to tell you this. But like, it's like these three people. I heard someone in a review say this, and I thought this was pretty smart. It's like these three people would have been better without knowing each other, but because they knew each other, like they had to know each other for this to happen for them. You know what I mean? Like, had like he not met Tasha, or what's her name, Tashi, sorry, he wouldn't have became like a pro athlete in the league probably. You know what I mean? There's like stuff like that. That's true.
I feel like we should probably, I feel like we should preface this by saying like we're going to get into spoilers eventually. Like I feel like if you guys haven't seen the movie and you're going to see the movie, like maybe wait till later and then come back like after you've watched it, because I feel like it's just inevitable that we're going to get into spoilers. I will say though that the trailer I felt was misleading. Like I felt like the trailer leads you to believe that this movie is going to be like one thing and it's not, right? Like it's not necessarily an erotic thriller by any means. It's more of a tennis match between relationships, I guess is what you could say. It does play off that tennis theme pretty hard, where it's like the volley back and forth, which was clever. I thought this was very well. I'm trying to say stuff before we get into spoilers, but I thought this was very well directed visually. I thought it was very well done. I thought what's his name, Guadagnino did a good job, kind of building the tension, and the way certain shots are like it definitely elevates like the drama inside the movie. A lot of people were saying like, oh, this film is going to be studied for years about like how the script is very well written. I felt like there's a lot of good dialogue in the script, and a lot of cool shots, but there's a lot of weird like there's a lot of weird things in this movie. But what did you think overall?
I mean, I think I will say the same thing. I think the direction of the movie was pretty great. I really enjoyed the shots. I'm not a big tennis guy, so I've only seen like maybe a few matches here and there randomly on TV. So I know the way that the angles are for a particular game is far different than what we see in this film. Because eventually you take as the viewer, you become the tennis ball. You know what I mean? You're like flying in the air, and that's a different, take than what you see normally in tennis. And I remember seeing this guy on Twitter, a little rant here, but he was like complaining about that because he's like, I've been playing tennis for odd plus years or whatever, and it's like, this is not how it looks. And I'm like, well, it's a movie, and they want to show you the intensity of it. And I don't think, like you said, this movie is a little bit misleading because yes, it's about tennis, but it's much more than that. Tennis is just the background character. It isn't the full, story. That's the immersion of these characters, that sort of like the way they change their life throughout their time together. And I think that's the one thing that I could probably let you guys know before we go into spoilers. The other thing, it was cool was I told you I liked the story. I liked the way it was written. Justin Kuruskis, who's if I'm not saying that correctly, I apologize, but he's the writer of the film. I think he's working on the next movie called Queer. It's another movie that I think he's gonna do with Guadagnino, right? or Guadagnino.
Guadagnino, yeah.
Guadagnino. And I think this guy started off as a YouTuber, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he was a YouTuber. He had one popular video that was like really big, and at one point I forget what it was, but I think that's where he got his start. But it's just kind of cool because it's fun. Like a lot of YouTubers, you know, that when we were like barely starting watching YouTube, like now they're getting their like, you know, they did their due diligence, and now they're, you know, freaking becoming like top writers for movies that are hits. And this is going to be probably a hit. A lot of people are saying this is like Oscar worthy, you know, like that Oscar buzz is already there for Zendaya. And I think this movie was supposed to come out around the time that Bones and something was, or what's that one with the other one that Luca Guadagnino had done?
He's done Call Me by Your Name, and Bones and All.
I think when Bones and All was supposed to come out, I think this movie was supposed to come out at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. But it got like taken down because of the writer's strike. I don't know if you recall that. Yeah, it was. Whoa!
No, sorry. I was gonna try to put something for when we start spoilers, so people know.
But yeah, overall, like I like the characters. I thought I wasn't gonna enjoy them, like, but I think they played the characters exactly for what they were supposed to be. I think Josh O'Connor played that character well enough. Josh O'Connor is the.
Is it the red hair or the dark hair?
The red hair, blonde guy.
I thought he was redhead.
He was blonde. Yeah, I think you're right. Wow, I don't even remember. Whatever.
He's a really pale white guy.
No, Josh O'Connor. No, wait. No, Josh O'Connor. My bad. Josh O'Connor is the guy. The guy that has the black hair. He's kind of like the rival of Mike.
And then Feist. Mike Feist is the red hair dude.
Yeah, he's the red hair dude. I think Mike Feist did a really good job. There's like moments in that movie where he'll deliver things, and it's very like, I don't know how to explain it. Like he kind of sounds like straight out of West Side Story. You know how, I don't know if you've seen that movie. Oh, you never got to see that movie, did you?
I didn't watch it.
Well, he's in that movie. He's one of like the main characters at one point, and like the way he delivers the lines in that movie, kind of like you see it in this film. But then at some point, like during the third act, he starts kind of changing up a little bit, and it's interesting, like going back and forth, because like you start to see the character's progression to becoming like this, like he's trying to become more to like, he's like, I'm done doing anything. He loses his drive, and they go into that in the movie.
Oh, now we got to put the spoiler, because you're going into spoilers, bro.
No, that wasn't a spoiler. It just.
Yeah, we didn't know that in the trailer.
I mean, I feel like you don't know anything about in the trailer. It seems like if I were to ask anyone to see the trailer, I think the one thing they would pull out of the trailer, and that's what, like, I asked a few people, actually. Funny thing that you mentioned this, Jason. I asked my brother, I asked one of my buddies, and I think I asked my brother-in-law. Was it him or my wife? I don't remember. 3 people I know I asked them, what do you think this movie's about, when they saw a trailer? And they're all, it's about them, they're gonna have a threesome.
Yeah,
that's what they pulled out of the trailer.
That's what the trailer shows.
That's what the trailer shows. There isn't like, it doesn't even seem like, oh, they're in a love triangle. It doesn't.
Right. It just seems like it's going to be a fling.
It literally tells you it's just going to be like probably a sexual movie.
Yeah, like you like an NC-17 type of thing. Like you're going to need to show your ID to get into this.
Yeah, I think the movie's rated R, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, probably. I think we should probably you should probably confirm.
I'm gonna double check. Yeah, I don't know. Let me double check, because I remember seeing that it was, but I mean nothing. Like when I was watching the movie, nothing.
Yeah, it's rated R.
So nothing had like.
There's a lot of swearing. There's a lot of.
Yeah, but like swearing isn't.
Like if you get more than 2 F-bombs, it's a rated R automatically.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow! No wonder you don't like me swearing on the podcast.
Rated R.
Because when you become rated R, dude.
It's true. It's true. Okay, we can probably get into spoilers now, because we kind of gave our gist. Did you like can you recommend it? I feel like once we get into kind of like the spoiler section, I'll probably give my 2 cents. Or you want to save your thoughts?
No, I mean I can. Would I recommend this? I think to a certain group of people, yeah, probably I can. It's just like I would recommend it, but I would also like tell you, hey, watch this movie because I think it's worth watching because the acting is great, but the story isn't what you expected. Because like I only saw like a little bit of the trailer for the Challengers. I didn't see anything else. Like I didn't know what it was about. I obviously tennis, but I didn't go looking for more about this film. Once the film came out, like I started seeing on Twitter, like all over the place, it was like 3 tickets to Challengers, and it was like you know two guys and a girl. It was like always like, oh, like a love triangle thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're playing it up
They were
pretty
playing it
hard.
up. It was like a big joke on Twitter for a bit, and I remember or X, whatever you want to call it. But I remember thinking I'm all is it just because of the threesome? Is that like the biggest, is that the drawing point of this film? Is that like why you're gonna go see this? Because you're gonna get Zendaya get like ran by like 2 dudes or whatever? It's like, do I want to
That's all
see
they
this?
gave you in the trailer. Yeah, that's all
Exactly.
it
It's like,
was.
do
Yeah.
I want to see that? And it isn't that. Like, I want to tell you guys right now, it's not a spoiler. That isn't what this film is. Like, it's got a lot of sexualized things, but not like to the way of like where they're like nude or anything like that. It's just like, um, just these characters are over sexualized in their own like way, like with their bodies. And like I like there's moments in scenes where they're just sweaty, and I know like if
Right.
like and I know if like a girl or someone who like that would be like, oh wow, freaking Mike Face is sweating, I like it. Like, you know what I mean, like. And then there's a moment with Zendaya, you know what I mean, where she's looking a certain way where you would say the same thing. It's like it's just she's sexualizing her body, right? And it's not in a bad. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just that's how the film is. But there's more. Obviously, like I said, there's more to it, and I think it's just it's I guess I would recommend it, but I also would warn people like, hey, just to let you know, you're gonna get this, but not like
Yeah.
ruin it for people. It's not like who am I to tell people what it's about, but also like I feel like I need to say something. Like I need to tell you, hey, it's not just about a threesome. You know what I mean? Like I have to state
Yeah,
that
it's not
first.
just about three. It's not. It's advertising it as that, and that's not what you're getting.
Just so strange, right? Like
There's
why
a
go
lot.
so
There's a
hard
lot of
on that?
nudity in the movie, though. Like there is a lot of like frontal nudity, and there's a lot of butts showing, and there's a lot of. It's just not what you're expecting from the trailer. like,
Yeah.
I think the one person on or a couple people online said like this is like the whole movie is just edging, and I think it's true because like there is no like sex scene that you're like it's building towards. It's just kind of like awkwardness, and then like it moves on really fast, and we'll get in. I think we got to get into spoilers at this point. um I personally wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's worth a theatrical experience. I think if it was streaming, maybe, but I don't think it's like, oh, I got to rush out and see this in IMAX. Like, I don't think that adds anything to it, personally, unless it's like the soundtrack, which
What's
we'll
the
get to.
soundtrack, right? Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
But I want to say I want to say one thing because you had said this. I don't want to lose that thought, but you were talking about how the scenes where like it cuts off really quickly. I think that was a direction, right? Obviously, but
yeah, for
it kind
sure.
of
Yeah,
felt like a tennis match, right? So when you're watching the film, it kind of goes to this person, to this person, to this person, to this person, kind of like if even outside the court, they're still playing a game. You know what I mean? And I think
yeah. I think that was very intentional.
that's very
Yeah,
intentional. And I wanted to say that before I lost that train of thought. Because sometimes I think some good things, Jason, then I forget.
yeah. I heard somebody spoiled it for me that there was a point in the movie where the camera becomes the ball, right? And that is a spoiler at the end. But I thought everything like building up to it, it was like every time you saw the actual tennis match, it started off very like calm, where you'd see the wide shots, the back and forth, like it was very, and then each time you went to a part of a match, it'd get more intense. Like you'd start seeing the ball like coming really close to the camera, and like it just progressively, I think very intentionally got more and more chaotic, like more and more intense, like the way the camera work was throughout the all the tennis scenes, until at the very end, like the camera literally takes the view of the ball. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, and it was spoiled for me online, but we're gonna get into the spoilers, and I just wanted to jump in and say the reason why I didn't really like this movie is because there's no one to root for. Like there's really everyone here is a terrible person to some extent. It's very interesting. It does make for great drama, but there is no heroes in this movie. Everybody's out for themselves in a way, and it I don't know. It just felt like I was sitting there like the dialogue is very quippy. It's very well written. It's shot really well, but it's like, do I need this movie? Like I didn't really. I felt like I didn't. There was no like when I walked out of I was like, what is this? Like I don't know like if I needed this. You know, it was interesting to watch, but would I go back and watch it again? Probably not. Like it seemed like something I'd maybe see on streaming just for curiosity's sake, but yeah, I didn't really like that everybody was kind of, especially Zendaya's character, right? Like she really was just like the villain of the piece, in my opinion. Like, did you feel that, or what do you think? Do you think she
Well,
had her motives were justified? Do you think?
no, I think she was motivated by competition, right? I think that's the point of the movie is that she had given them the option to win her over, right? It's one of the scenes, and I mean, like you said, there's no real hero here. I think they're all toxic in their own way, and I think Zendaya. I was telling you when I was watching the film, and maybe this is just my take. I thought she was the villain of the movie, right? Because if she wasn't there, if she hadn't, but again, these two guys do it to themselves, right? Had she not been there, there wouldn't have been a rivalry between the guys. They could have still been friends, but because of her motives, and I think she puts them up against each other, right? Like they ask, like, "Oh, should I like?" He's all, "Do you have a Facebook?" And he's like, "He's asking for your number, and I want it too." Right? And then it's
Right.
like, it's kind of weird. You're like, well, this kind of already is going down a bad situation, right? Like I think a lot of people always say like the bro code, right? Like, we're gonna be the guys, are gonna like stick with guys, and we're not gonna like let a girl get in between the friends, kind of thing. That's like a whole thing that people say, right? But it's
Right.
never true. I know you said, "Oh, I've never seen this" or whatever. I've seen this. I've seen this in high school.
Mhm.
I've seen people lose friendships because they like the same girl, and rather than talk about it like men, because obviously they're kids, they end up like fighting about it, or they get
Yeah,
mad
for
at each
sure.
other, and then it happens, and this is what that is. And I
I think
mean,
she's aware of it too.
of
Remember, she
course,
kept
and then
saying
she
like,
she
"I don't
likes
want to
it.
break up the yeah," but she
No,
likes it. Yeah.
she likes it. She likes she you generally could see that she enjoys what she's doing, and then she has that thing. I forget what she said about white boys that you dad said. I forget, which was kind of a random line, but um,
Yeah, that was more for the trailer, I think.
no, she's. I mean, yeah, but it's also kind of stupid because it's like I'm not here taking care of white boys, but all these white guys are banging her, so it's like, who you taking care of? How you taking
Can we?
care of them? How you
Yeah,
taking care of them? You know what I mean? And but I think that's the point, right? Like they're all in their own head, and it's interesting to see how these guys end up letting it lead them to essentially their downfall for a bit, but also like it's not, because like I don't know. At some point, it kind of seems like Zendaya doesn't even like her husband that she ends up marrying, which is Mike Weiss's character, and Josh
I don't think
O'Connor kind
she.
of makes her think that. But it's like, does she feel that? Because she doesn't never says it. She just kind of doesn't say anything about it, and so she's living like this facade of a life, right?
I think she does like him as long as she is getting his his performance. Like she likes him because he is a highly regarded tennis player, and because he's like all she wants is that status of the tennis, right? She wants to build up his career, and like as soon as he kind of starts losing interest, she loses interest in him, right? Because she just wants to push him.
Yeah, she's living in the movie. She lives vicariously. And in one of the scenes that we haven't talked about, Zendaya's character, Tisha, she injures herself really bad, where to the point where she can't play tennis because she's a really
Tashi,
good tennis player. What was that?
Tashi, not Tisha.
Tashi? What did I say? Tisha? Oh
You
my
said
gosh.
Tisha.
Whatever. I'm just gonna call her Zendaya. I don't really want to say their names. But
Zinda.
Zendaya's character in the movie injures herself to the point of that she can't be a tennis player anymore. And I think in the
Right.
beginning you're seeing that she is a up and coming star. She still wants to just go to school because she just doesn't want to be. I don't think she came from wealth,
Mhm.
and so she lets that be known. And lets that be known to like the audience when we're watching the film. She kind of says it to the guys, and so when that happens, she ends up having to, fall back on what she wants to do, which is, coach this guy. Because even like I said, even she tells him, like, when she's pitting them up against each other to get her number, he's like, you can beat him. You just need to find your drive. Like, you need to not lose, like, how to get better or something like that.
Right.
Which he tells Michael Feist or something like that. But yeah.
I wrote down that I felt like she only gives anyone attention when she thinks they can do something for her, and I felt like that was true because she wants a good tennis match in the very beginning, right? That's why she pits them against each other, because she wants them both to be fighting for her. She loves that attention, and then you're right. Once she breaks her leg, it's all about getting the guy that will give her the best, like, tennis outcome, basically. Like, she still wants them to be fighting over her. And I feel like everyone had very selfish motives throughout the whole thing. I felt the one thing I wanted to call out was the biggest hurdle for me was, and this is just me personally, but to be convinced that both of these guys were mesmerized by her from the get-go, because she has such a little boy's body. Like, I don't like, just for me as a guy, I appreciate the curves, and I was like, there's nothing flattering. Like, I don't know. I know some people think Zendaya is like the prettiest woman in the world. I don't see that. And just to be fighting over her to that point, I didn't buy it.
No, I mean, everyone has their tastes, and I mean, she's not attractive to me either, but I understand what people like could, because again, like, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But I understand what there's things that people see in her, and I'm not gonna like dismiss that. But I I don't think
she still looks like a little kid to me. Like, I felt like
that's just because she doesn't have. It's because she's not voluptuous.
Is she like 30 something? I don't, like, in real life, I forget how old
I don't
she
know,
is.
but I think that's that again, that's preference. It's like had you wanted her to look more like Sydney Sweeney playing tennis, like, that's not a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, she had like a
it's
tennis
like
player's body, right?
yeah, it's like
but still.
maybe
And I thought it was very
know.
forced because, like, at the beginning of the movie, like, obviously it's like in the future, right? And they do a lot of back and forth, like time lapsing, and they had the scenes with her daughter, right? And I thought, this is just to try and convince me that she's old enough. Old enough for
Yeah,
this
that's the thing. And yeah, the time skips. Like,
I didn't
had
buy
I
her
not
having a
been
daughter.
had I not been paying attention, I would have been like, what is even this? Like, they're in their 30s now. That's what essentially what happened. Like,
Right.
the makeup artists, whatever they did, they tried to make them look older, and I was like, it didn't work. Like, I think I just made myself believe it. Like, I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, they're older. She has a kid now. She's married to this guy, and like, it's so interesting, dude.
It was like, thank goodness the redhead cut his hair to be shorter, so I could be like, okay, this is in the future because he's got short hair now.
And then the guy got a beard, dude. It's like,
And then she's got the short the little mom cut.
Yeah. And now she wears a pantsuit.
Yeah.
Like, we know she's a mom.
Right. We were like, okay, I get it. You're trying to be like she's a mom, but
all right, she's a mom now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's also talk about the music in the movie. Like, I thought it was so. I think I didn't mind it, but it was kind of interesting how every time there was some sort of like tension, I feel like it almost represented like when they got excited about something, like they were fueled by like this sort of interaction. Like, that's when the music was like it was very synth. Is that what you called it? It was like 80s synth.
It was like 90s synth. I think it was like synth. that 90s techno era of music. And I don't know if you got well, you've heard Donna Summer's "I Feel Love." Like, that kind of music. Like, it's sort of. I think that's a really old song. I think that's like probably the 80s. But like, it kind of reminded me something like that, like very like synth 80s 90s sort of movies, which is cool because up to this point, I don't think I have seen a movie that hasn't been a sci-fi film that's used music like that. Which was cool because it kind of like is teaching other people, like, you can use other songs other than just that, right? It's kind of like James Gunn, right? James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy, brought out a great soundtrack for those films, and then like everything after those movies started to become something like James Gunn. Suicide Squad started like nothing really matters, where it became like these songs that were just,
Right.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm curious to see how much this movie is gonna like sort of change the direction for other films with that style of music. Because
Yeah.
like you said, it didn't bother me. Like I enjoyed it, but there was moments like you said that felt forced. Like I think I sent you a scene, or I was telling you. Sorry, I sent you. I was talking about a scene with you, and it was one where they're they're in a sauna, and they're both like they're older, right? And they're talking about like, why are you here, and why are you at the Challengers tournament and all this stuff? And he's like, you're over here swinging your big D around, making me feel scared or something like that. All this like whole conversation, but they're getting intense. Like it's gonna get intense.
It's getting
They're
heated, right? Yeah, it's
getting heated,
yeah.
right? Like, and you could tell. And I will say this, dude, Josh O'Connor has a great charisma of him in the whole film. I think he does a good
Yeah.
job because he has a charisma, but he's also a douche, and he plays both of that really darn well. Like you could see it. And yeah, they have that whole conversation, they're talking, and then a song starts playing, and it's like loud as they're talking. It
It's
gets
loud
louder
and
and
like
louder. And I was dying, dude, when I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh. And I told I texted Jason. I was like, dude, this scene reminds me of us. Like, and then not like that we're
in a
two
sauna together.
friends in sauna that want to kiss each other. Not like that. No, I meant like at the end of the podcast. Every time you guys hear the podcast, we're always saying like goodbye, guys. It was nice talking to you guys or whatever. While we're doing our whole speech and all that, and then he plays the song and it's like oh yeah, and it starts getting louder since we're trying to
Yeah.
say stuff.
We used to put that in post and like we wouldn't even know about it.
Yeah,
Now
we
we do
wouldn't know
when
it.
we
Now
do
we-
live shows, like it's like we hear it getting louder and we're
We
like,
get
oh,
louder.
we gotta wrap it
It's
up
like,
because we're not sure when it's
and
gonna
it's
hit.
just how it is. But it's
pretty
just
funny.
it was just it's fun though. Like I think it worked, for me. And I think that's something to be said, because usually you don't, like I said before, like you don't see that kind of music in these films, at least not movies I've seen any lately. And so watching it kind of was like, oh man, this is pretty cool. But it would happen like randomly. It's like they'd be like, man, something, I'm gonna be the challenger. And I was like,
Yeah.
over here, like,
Hard bass, like
you know what I mean? Like I get in a little robot
Yeah.
or something, I was like,
So yeah, I did like that aspect of it. I just going back to like their motives and stuff. Like I felt like Zendaya's character was definitely motivated by her own intentions, and like especially because she knew that they were both like, remember when they stayed all at the very end of the party, right? Like they just stayed till everyone left the party, and I think at that point she knew like they would pretty much do anything to like get her attention, and she uses it to her advantage, right? Like there's that whole scene where it's like, you can come over, and they didn't think she was gonna come over, and she ends up coming over, and like that. We have to talk about that scene because I felt like she was almost evil in that scene. Like she was almost like just sitting there, like
she was a seducer.
It wasn't even
Temptress?
seductive to me. I mean, it was like she was playing with their emotions, and then there was some really interesting like dialogue back and forth between them. Obviously, this is very like, there it's clear that at least the dark haired dude was bisexual, right? Like because there's like later on in the film where he's doing the swiping on Tinder, and then the guy comes up and he swipes anyway.
Yeah, and he swipes. Yeah.
It could. I mean, it's just that when she was doing that she wanted to kiss each one of them, and then she like puts them together, and I felt like they didn't realize, but they were fine with it. And then I got this, like when she had that smile on her face, I was like, she's just evil. Like she just wants to toy with people.
Well, I mean, yeah, in a way, yeah, but also like in the whole film, they kind of like in the beginning of that scene, they're talking about how one of them taught the other to masturbate.
Which is odd to begin with,
which is odd
right?
as well,
Yeah.
yeah. And like I mean, I've had close friends, but not friends that like you've done that with, where he's like, I taught him how to masturbate, and I was telling him which girl, and we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's
that
odd,
gives you
right?
a clue
That
that
gives
they're
you
like
a clue that they're a little
best
bit
friends,
too
but then
close.
more than friends. Yeah.
Some people call them butt buddies. No, but again, nothing wrong with that. That's fine, whatever. But like throughout the film, after even before that's happening, you sort of get the sense that they're more than bros. You know what I mean? Even like, and this is something I noticed, and I'm hoping you did too. Like the beds where she sits in the middle when she's getting magged down by these dudes, the beds are already together.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, look at the beds. They're close. I'm not.
Yeah. They're like pushed together. Yeah,
They're pushed together already. So these
think
guys
so,
are
yeah.
like either really close where they need to be that close, or something is going on. And then they start kissing each
which is
other.
fine. Like
again, yeah, it's cool. It's whatever. But like, and then they start kissing, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, this is a different movie. I was thinking that this was going to lead down the road of like they were going to get married, bang Zendaya or whatever, and then eventually they're going to meet up and be like, I missed you, brother. And then they make out, because like at the end he does that big jump and he catches them midair, and it's like in my head I was like, oh, maybe he's free, and now he's falling into his buddy's arms, and again, that's cool. Like, but it was just like, I don't know.
I
don't
took
know.
it like I knew there was like a bunch of like it was they call it like gay coded, right? Like it's very like you could tell that they were
gay code
as gay characters, right?
Which is gay code.
Gay code.
Is this like when you're gonna create a website HTML it's a gay code?
And they're like, give me the gay version
of the gay
HTML.
code.
It's GTML. But the thing that I thought made Zendaya so despicable, right, is because she got them into that position where they were like kissing each other, and then she knew she could manipulate them to do whatever she wanted at that point. Like she had that look on her face where she's just like, now I have.
I'll be honest with you, bro.
Go ahead.
I'll be honest with you. I had a feeling, because I told you when I was on Twitter, they were posting like the 3 tickets of like they were going to be gay dudes and they were going to have sex with her or whatever, like bisexual stuff, which just whatever. But I was thinking she was going to blackmail him. I thought this was what the whole movie was about blackmailing, but it wasn't. It didn't end up being that. So I was a little bit surprised, because I'm like, oh, I wonder what because like you said, it looks like she's manipulating them to be gay. Like she knows that there's something like more with them. And so when she does it, you're like, oh shoot. Okay. So she's like bringing out the real version of them, like the homosexual desires between the friendship. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I'm like, maybe she's
that's true. They could have done it that way,
and they didn't. It went completely different because I don't know.
It was funny because like she just kind of leaves at that moment, right? She's just cause like, I'm done, or she's like, I should probably go home and like rest for the match or whatever. And then to me, like towards the end of the movie, I felt like the guys really did have like a good friendship, like a best friend type of relationship. And then you say like, obviously it was more than that, but she really did break up their friendship. Like she did like almost intentionally pit them against each other. And then I think towards the end, like especially the last part of the movie, it was them kind of like, we don't need her. Like she's the problem. Almost like I kind of felt like sorry for them, right? Because they had such a great relationship in the beginning with each other. They were telling, they're closer than like they shared all their secrets, all that stuff. And then it felt so sad that she took one of them away and she had her life with them, leaving the other guy who was basically like broke and like on his own, right?
Yeah. He's like, I'm nothing without my butt buddy kind of thing.
Yeah. And it was funny because
they were doubles, right? That's like they were doubles.
Yeah, they were like, playing with each other.
They were playing with each other, right? I know.
Yeah. And I
want to say it's funny because like I said Zendaya was a villain, but you're like going really hard on her, like she's like the worst.
She's the villain, dude. She's the villain.
She is sort of, because it kind of feels like she was the one that kind of like she's manipulated them to do all this stuff. But again, it's like their decision as well. Like they're doing it. They're all like in their own way toxic to amongst each other. And I think at the end, my thought was like when he jumps into his best friend's arm, because obviously I think I might have told you this on in this episode, or I told you before, but at one point in the beginning of the film, Zendaya and Josh O'Connor's character are the ones that dated because he wins the match. Right. And then so Mike Weiss's character tells him, hey, did you end up sleeping with her? Did you have sex or whatever? And then he tells him, if you serve like this, I'll know that you had sex with her. And he does it, right? And now he's like, oh, you did it. You had sex with her, right? At the end of the film, when they have their big challenge, or their big, it
was like the last part of the match.
The last part of the match,
third set or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. He does it again. And so Mike Feist sees that, and it gets some like more intense. Then he starts playing even better than he has been, and it gives him that drive back that he's been missing. But
Oh man,
when
that
he
scene
jumps
it
into his
just
arms and
took
they hug
forever.
each other, he's like, "I'm glad that you banged my wife. Now we could be friends again." You know what I mean? That was like the whole. That was like the big.
That's so weird.
It was just no, but that right because he knows. Like
I think that
it
was the
wasn't
moment
said.
that the
It's just that he
friendship was
knows.
stronger than the relationship with the girl,
Yeah,
right?
because I think they just were like, well, she's just a piece of, you know, like
Garbage. No,
no, well, she's like a piece of something like that they could share, which is I don't know. That's strange in itself because he has a kid with her. I don't know. It's see that's again that this is our mind. I might be wrong, and it could be completely different from what we're actually saying. But this is what I gathered watching the movie. I've only watched it once. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll like there's like little
yeah.
differences here and there, but no, it kind of seems like that's essentially what's going on at the end, right? Because they hug and they're happy, and it's like, and like,
I read it as like she's no longer the like part of the problem. Like they've kind of reconciled. That's kind of what I thought. But at the same time, she says like she yells again. She's just like, "Come on!" But I think maybe she realizes it, or maybe it's a very weird ending, right? The way it kind of ends. Maybe like some of you who, if you watched it, maybe it's more clear to you. For me, it was kind of she kind of realized that they kind of realized that she was manipulating them. I thought, but that whole like signaling with the racket, like that little code that he did at the beginning, like it was foreshadowed, right? Like it's like okay, it's gonna come up later, but then the moment comes and it's like okay, he's obviously gonna do this. It took like 10 minutes, bro, to like do that like it was all slow mo and the music was like I'm like just do it. Everybody like it was so choreographed. To me, that pacing was a little too long. I was just like, just get to it. But and then the way it kind of ended was a little weird because you don't quite know what's gonna happen. Like obviously, the reason why he was supposed to throw the match, like Zendaya's character comes up to the dark haired dude and it's like, I want you to lose the match. And I loved how Josh O'Connor's character like was the one that saw through all her nonsense, right? Like he was the one person that could call her out on it. And in a way, he was the better match for her in a way because he could see through it, right? He could like put her in her place and she needed that. But she realized that the red-haired dude was the weaker of the two friends and she could probably manipulate him a lot easier. I think that's kind of why she ended up staying with him because she knew he saw through her. I don't know, bro. There's a lot like I said, the dialogue is really well written. It was just kind of messy and it was kind of all over the place for me. And I just felt like everybody was despicable and like it was kind of a dark movie,
they
right?
should have called this Despicable Me 5.
They should have called it Despicable 3. I don't know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I,
It definitely leaves you like thinking about it.
yeah,
And
I don't like again. I mean, I'll say this like I said before to you. Like, it's a good movie. It's not bad. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate watch it. I enjoyed watching the movie. Like I not once was I thinking, man, I want this to end because it was followed by some great music, some good acting, and a decent story. Whether we enjoyed that story or not is different, right? Because obviously, like you said, she's evil. Like she's did that. You don't like Zendaya's character because of this and that. I get that. I don't like the movie Gone Girl because of that girl character does some messed up things, and I hate her in that film. But also, like Ben Affleck is a piece of garbage as well in the movie. But it's like
right.
she does so far worse things, and I was like, man, Gone Girl's a great movie, but I hate her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not that she's a terrible actor. She's a great actor, but she's a freaking terrible person in the film, and that's a testament to how good of an actor they are and how well they were able to work that script right that they were given in that direction. Obviously there's more lighting, all that cool stuff that they did, cinematography, all that, it all plays a big pivotal role in the film, and I think they did a good job. This is I honestly think this is going to be Oscar worthy. Like, I think it's going to have some Oscar buzz, whether we care for it to like give it that chance and like give it those awards. Like, probably not. I've seen far better movies, but it's a good movie. Like, I know it's going to get some sort of recognition because it should. Like, I can
I know
see
for sure
past
it'll,
that.
yeah, for sure, right? It's there's a lot of gay stuff in this movie, so of course it's gonna get Oscar buzz. Uh, it's just no way around it. It's checking all the boxes. The performances were good. I didn't like necessarily the story. I didn't like like at the end of the day, I was like, what's the point? I didn't understand why was this film, what was the point? Like, what, there were no heroes, there were no, everybody was just out to get each other. And it just, for me, it just wasn't something that I cared for. Like I enjoyed kind of like the ride, but at the end of the day, I was left pretty empty at the end of it. So I was kind of like, I don't need to see this again. I don't need, if it gets Oscar buzz, like whatever. Like it was okay for one time watch. I don't necessarily think you need to watch it in the theater. And that's just my personal. I would, if you're gonna waste your time, there's much better stuff to watch, I think.
Yeah, but again, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people love Zendaya.
That's
you know what I mean.
that's true.
Like,
If you're
I know
Zendaya fan.
I know you're not a big fan of the Joker. I mean, you like the Joker movie, but you've only seen it once, and you're like, I don't need to watch this again. You know what I mean? And again, that's not a bad thing. It's just like you don't want to keep continuously watching something that's going to make you feel a certain way. Like, there's already so much unhappiness in the world. Why would you want to watch this? Like, because I get that. I felt the same way watching the movie. I was like, man, this is like pretty, like, it's pretty deep. Like, there's some bad stuff going on here. It's like sadness. There isn't. I had to put a Disney movie on. You know what I mean? I had to watch Jungle
At
Book.
the end.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like when you watch a horror film. You get so scared you end up watching like a little Disney movie at the end. But like,
I definitely think there was drama, right? I definitely think they did a good job of building the drama. And I think, like you always say, like, it's a good movie. Like you can find aspects of this movie that are
because
positive.
I tried to I've said this many times. It's like, this doesn't take a lot to make me enjoy something because I want to see it for what it is, and I try to, except the Matrix 4, which we always talk about, but I'll always bring that up. But like, I genuinely try, like, because this doesn't affect me. Like, again, we always say this. Like, I know people get mad and you want to get that. And you even told me you're like say that weird thing where it's like you want me to get mad about a movie, but I can't. It's just like, why the hell do I care? Like, why? Like, why would I get mad? Like, what is it gonna do for me? It doesn't help. I don't need that poison in my life. Like, that's terrible. But like, the movie was good. Like, it was a good movie. Whether I wanted all the, the butt buddy stuff and or Zendaya being that toxic to these guys, and again, it's like they're all at fault. They're all bad characters.
Right, they're all bad people,
and they're not, and not bad characters as in like the way they're written or directed or whatever. No. I'm talking about like the characters that they portrayed. They're all bad people. Like, they all have done something. Like the redheaded dude essentially freaking
he abandons his friend,
covets his best friend, his girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then his best friend ends up banging his wife. And then Zendaya is like at the center of all this. You know what I mean? It's like they're not great people. Again, I think competition and I think it's probably the big thing in this film, and I think that I think again, I'm not a big cinematographer. I don't know like what he did to like show that, but there's like moments in that film, like I said, that where the camera goes from one end to the other to the other to the other, and they're essentially
that volley back and forth.
And they're trying to that's how the conversation was as well. Like, this is always a game. There's like, I know this is a tennis movie, but like, and I think I said it in one part of this episode, but I was like, this is like a tennis match even outside of the courts. Like, that's what essentially the whole movie, because like I think Zendaya's on top of Josh Connor's character when they're first dating, and she tells him like something while they're trying to like get intimate, and then he's like, can we not talk about tennis? And then she's like, we always, like, it always has to be about tennis.
Yeah.
And she's done. She's like, she gets off of him, right? And it's
Yeah.
like it's
Well,
kind of
that's the
weird,
thing. Like
but that's
when
the
she,
thing is like that's the
yeah,
drive is tennis to be better to like to essentially like progress in this freaking league or whatever. I don't know.
yeah, it was like a status thing, right? Like it's like you're either you're either at the top or I have no interest in you, that type of thing. Like when she broke her leg, I was like, I don't care. Like that's fine. Like she should break her leg. Like you know what I mean? Like I
Dang.
wasn't rooting for
That's what
these
you get for
characters. Yeah.
cheating.
I
You
wasn't
didn't you
rooting
didn't root for the freaking the redheaded dude when he fell into his best friend's arms?
Nah, dude, they were both like terrible people. I don't know. I was rooting for the ref. The ref that was like,
The guy that was like telling them you're gonna get a score off.
yeah, yeah.
Like that.
You
That
keep
guy
this
was
up.
sweet. That guy was sweet. He looked like honestly, and again, it's not because he just there was something about that guy that just didn't fit. Like the way he was dressed, and I've never seen Dennis, but like, don't those dudes always wear like little shorts and like like really light gear because it's like they're sitting on a podium and it's hot, and then
That's
this
what
guy
you
was like in
think.
a really
Yeah.
nice suit, and I'm
Yeah.
like, man, this guy just doesn't fit there, but I
That's
like him,
true.
dude. He's
With like the
sassy.
sun beating down. Yeah, he was pretty
He's sassy, dude. I liked it, dude. I honestly liked that. I think he was a good character. He was random, but he was a
Yeah,
shout
it was
out.
fun.
Shout out
Shout
to
out.
that guy, whatever his name was. Let's go look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. I wonder what his name would be. Oh, here it is. Darnold Oppling, the umpire.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Darnell
That's
Appling.
the Darnell Oppling. Oh man,
Umpire.
he's an assistant in Zendaya. He always assists Zendaya. He's probably his friend. Who
I
knows?
kind of thought it was a cameo from somebody in behind the scenes. That's kind of what I got a sense for. Yeah. But anyway, that was our thoughts on the challengers, guys. I'm trying to think what other movies are coming out next week. Do we
I
have?
don't know, but I'm gonna watch the challengers again. I think isn't Fall Guy coming out?
Fall Guy's coming out soon. I feel like Fall Guy's been advertised for like a whole year.
Yeah,
Like,
I
when is
think
that movie coming out?
I don't know if you guys saw this. You guys can look this up, but the Fall Guy, it's called. Sorry. There was a thing at Universal Studios where they do the what's it called, the Waterworld or whatever, and Ryan Gosling was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
that's
like, I don't
cool.
know if it was the one here in California or I didn't double check, but you can look this up. But the movie's
It
coming
makes
out
sense that
May
it'd be-
3rd this year. Let me see.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Fall Guy, Universal.
That one's May 3rd. There's an advanced early screening May 1st.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Universal Studios Hollywood. He was there. He was like doing the new Fall Guy stuff, and like
that's
they
so
go through
cool,
a
dude.
glass.
That's such a great show. The Waterworld show is if you guys go to Orlando or
Oh,
Universal
this
Studios.
is neat. It's called the Fall Guy Stuntacular. It's like the new thing that's gonna happen.
Oh, they're gonna replace the Waterworld for like a Fall Guy.
Probably.
That's cool,
That's pretty wild.
dude. Everybody that does that show, dude, it's such a good time. I really enjoy
It is, dude. That was the first time I saw that show was with you when we went like recently, and we had my daughter with us, which is she was still a baby.
Oh, that was the first time you saw?
That was the first time
dude.
I've seen it. I never got to see it, and I remember watching and being like so like in awe, bro. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome! Like I can't believe they're doing this, and then they would wet people.
Yeah, they interact with the crowd.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like they do a good job. Like it's like I want to like I was wondering if they were gonna come walk around with an iPad where it says 15% tip. You know what I mean? Because like
it's like I got a few questions for you.
They deserve that. They did it, dude. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. Anytime you go to Universal, you got to watch Waterworld. It's like if it's open.
Well, not anymore. Now we're gonna get the Fall Guy, brother.
So. Yeah, maybe it'll be good though. I'm curious.
Possibly. It looks neat from the little clips. If you guys go look that up, obviously we can't post it here, but we'll get flagged YouTube. But if you go look at it, it's
Fall Guys May 1st, so it's a couple days. Dang, I want to watch it. And then are you gonna watch Star Wars Phantom Menace? It's gonna be May 3rd.
I want to, man, but I freaking
this guy got right. You got your A list, right?
No, man, I'm still I freaking friend of the cast, McFly, called me the other day, and he was telling me, he's like, "How do I support you to get your A list?" He told me, and I was like, "Man, we have a Patreon, but that thing's not up."
That's true.
Eventually, we'll get that button. You guys can start sending all kinds of moolah so we can keep doing these shows like consistently every day. That'd be awesome, huh?
I would, yeah, dude. I'd do it more often if you're down.
I would too. I'd be really down. It's just school and everything. It's like a lot. But now I'm not in school, so kind of like I'm able to do a little bit more. That's why we dropped this extra episode.
Yeah, dude. He had a break in between, and I was like, let's just do it. So we got I was gonna say Planet of the Apes also comes out the week after. Are you gonna watch that one?
I really want to watch it.
And
did you see all the cool little like things that they were doing? They were having people in Santa Monica dressed like apes,
walking on the beaches.
I was like, dude, imagine a crackhead. Like people that are all drugged up,
and they just wake up out of
and
a
they
stupor.
just wake
like,
up and they see a freaking an ape like the horse. That'd be wild. But dude, as always, Jace, I would like to thank you, and I would like to thank the audience for tuning in every week when we drop an episode. Today was a special day. We dropped an extra one on Sunday, and we're excited. I know you guys are watching the live stream probably, and probably the podcast episode is going to come out on Thursday of next week. But we appreciate you hanging out, friends of the cast. Jason, please send us home. You're on mute, dude.
Actually, it comes out Sunday. Well, for the podcast. You said Thursday. Don't get.
It does. Then what is Thursday? Oh, we record Thursday.
We record on Thursdays usually.
Oh, so no. Well, the live stream is Thursday. The podcast episode drops Sunday, right?
Yeah. If you guys want to join us for the live stream, send comments and stuff. We'll definitely get you on the cast. But I appreciate you guys joining for this kind of special episode. This was a fun time. I enjoyed it. We should do more of these reviews. If you guys liked it, definitely drop a like. Listen, watch it, share it with your friends. Subscribe to our Twitters. Anything that you can do to like help spread the word, and anything like you have comments, like
tell your friends about me.
Tell your friends. We want to make this a better podcast and a better show and grow it over time. So definitely, if you have thoughts, comments, if you want to be guests, let us know. We'll be more than happy. But if you guys stuck around to the very end of this episode, you guys are the true fans, and we love you guys. Hope you guys have a great couple weeks for me, because I'm not going to see you the next time. Ernie, are you going to do a show, or are you debating?
I'm down to do an episode. I'll probably find another random co-host. Usually it's always Lex, but we'll see. Might get like Kyle Golden Doodle and see if he can cop on. I kind of want to get him because I think we were talking about doing Avatar Last Airbender, but it's kind of a late episode. But it'd be fun to get something with anime with that guy. But we'll see. See how the music's going? That's how it was in
Here we go.
Challengers.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye, guys. Oh, I love this when he goes to the little screen. Watch. Go, do it.